everyone, this is Susie J. Cobwebs, and I would like to try something a little bit different today. I would like to have this episode and trying to have an interview with one of my friends. She's actually a very special guest of mine, and this is a great opportunity to expand our businesses and so we can all grow together and unite as one. So I would like to introduce her. Her name is Kim Huther. She is actually from Wordsmith Editing, and she actually specializes in proofreading, content editing, and line editing. How are you doing today, Kim?
Hi, Susie. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, very well.
Good.
All right, so let's just do a little bit of small talk here, just kind of get everything situated. You're from where?
I live in Rochester, New York. It's Western New York. It's between Buffalo and Syracuse.
Oh,
so
wow.
We get hot summers and super cold winters.
Oh, I'm actually from Pennsylvania, so we're actually on the same time zone too. So
Hey.
I completely understand. 1 minute yesterday it was excruciating hot, and then by late last night we were getting a thunderstorm.
You were supposed to get rain. We've had high 90s all week. It's been disgustingly humid and just really gross.
Yes.
So that's when you need air conditioners. Yes.
Thank God for air conditioners. You know what? And the thing is, you know what? You give me an air conditioner and I can do whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm perfectly content, right?
Yep.
All righty. So I'm just going to start with a few of our questions that, we've talked about. And just bear with me 1 second. I have it actually on my back behind you too. So what type of experience do you have, or is it education?
I have a bachelor's of art in English. And I actually started out as a genetics major and cried myself
that's a difference.
Every night for 3 semesters until my advisor, who was actually the head of the English department, said, you know what, you really should switch to English because you're really good at it. I said, okay, and was much happier after that. And even switching majors, managed to graduate on time. And that was, that was 26 years ago that I graduated from college. And I knew I didn't want to teach. I wanted to do something with proofreading and editing. I even had worked on the school newspaper. Was the managing editor and the copy editor for the school newspaper. And then when I got out of college, I really didn't know what I was going to do because without experience, I couldn't get a job, but you couldn't get a job without, it was just, it was a horrible
That's with everything.
cycle. So I did a lot of temp work. I was a receptionist for many years, an executive assistant. It was just miserable. And then in 2008, my husband said, why don't you start your own business? And I said, oh, that's a really good idea, honey. With a 2-year-old, how am I going to do that?
That's a good idea.
But I managed. I went down to the county clerk's office and got my DBA, doing business as. Mm-hmm. And originally I was Wordsmith Proofreading Services. But then as I expanded my repertoire and my services, I decided to change it to editing, Wordsmith Editing. So it's, Kimberly Huther, DBA, Wordsmith Editing. So, 12 years later, the rest is history. And I just really, having an English degree is a big help, obviously, but it's more of this like God-given gift I have to be able to know where to use commas and semicolons. And
it is.
I liken it to the Master Builders in the Lego movie. You know how they just look at the Legos and they can build things. Well, I just look at sentences and books and can find the errors. So
wonderful. You know what? I'm a writer myself, and we've spoke on many different occasions, and I can get the words down. I can get everything where I want it to be. Now, grammar-wise, that's a little more work in progress than, I know that that's going to come with experience.
Right.
But in the same way, if I haven't learned it 20 years ago, I'm probably not, it's not going to retain now.
And that's where someone like
You come into play, correct?
step in. Yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I know a lot of the audience would like to know the difference between the line editing and the content editing.
Okay, and the proofreading, right?
And
I
the
mean, like
proofreading,
what it all means.
What it all
Sure.
means.
So yeah, absolutely. Proofreading focuses mainly on spelling, grammar, and punctuation.
Okay.
So I will put the commas in the right place and take them out of the places they don't belong, and
Which
the
has a
em
lot.
dashes and the semicolons, and then grammar obviously is, you know, who and whom, and you know, which your and which to use, and
Yes. Oh,
that's my jam. It really is. And then so line editing is then making sure that the right word is used, as in from instead of form, because Grammarly won't catch that
no.
because it's a correct word. It's just, you know, not the right word. And then content editing focuses mainly on making sure there are no plot holes or inconsistencies. Like if your character has brown eyes in the first chapter and then halfway through he's got blue. No, hang on a second. Didn't he have brown eyes? And,
Right?
and he's already in the living room. How is he entering the living room? No. So
Yes.
those are the three different levels, and I offer all three.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Now, do you do mostly chapters, or do you do manuscripts or short stories or screenwriting, or does it matter?
I do it all. I actually have not proofread or edited any screenplays. Not yet, anyway. I'm sure someone will ask me to one of these days. I mainly do books, manuscripts, and I found all of my clients here on Facebook, which is amazing.
But that's wonderful.
It
I
just,
love social media.
oh, I really do, and I really don't understand why people get angry with me for networking. It's like that's what Facebook is for. It's for networking.
Yes.
You know, that's what it's for. You know, if an author wants to send me, you know, chapters at a time, that's fine too. I don't insist on a full manuscript. As however they need to send it is, you know, how I'll take it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I'm going to hit on both sides of this. So how can you tell if a piece of writing is good? Like, and you're excited about this now, and is that just based on your opinions, or is that based on the grammar or everything else, or both?
Right. Let me see. Well, I mean, if it pulls me in immediately, I know it's a good story. Even if it's not all, you know, grammatically correct. That's my job, is to make it grammatically correct.
Right.
But if the bones are good, like it's got, you know, well-developed plot, the characters are not speaking in a stilted manner, like I've worked on books where like the characters they don't speak with contractions. It's like, no, people use contractions when they talk. We don't say, I should not have to go to the grocery store. I do not want it. No. I don't want to, you know, it needs to be written. I mean, unless it takes place in Regency England, then of course there's not going to be contractions. But if it's modern day or even a fantasy or paranormal, you've got to have contractions, because that's how people talk.
That's how people talk.
It is how people talk. But again, to go back to your question, I kind of got off on a tangent.
That's okay.
I've got, 16 tabs open on my, in my brain.
That's okay.
Like I said, if it pulls me in immediately, it's a good story. If I have to struggle to get through it, not just the bones of it, but the plot, if it's slow or if it just, if it's gratuitous sex, I'm like, no, I don't want to read this, but I then probably have to because I've been paid. So
right now that just gets me to the next question. Now, and this may be a hard question, and you kind of have to watch because these writing projects are the author's babies. Right. So how would you say, okay, for the lack of better words, that you need to redo this, or what, this, you need to rethink this whole chapter, or you need to fix this. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's a big fix. It's not like, okay, well, the comma didn't,
right.
That's simple. We can fix that.
Easy.
That's easy.
But how do I tell my authors? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I do it very gently.
Very gently.
very sweetly. I do not slam anybody for their inability, to
work,
put a story together. I very sweetly and gently send it back and say, I need you to, I don't know, for instance, learn how to write dialogue.
Right. And that's very important in a story.
It really is. Because I don't have time to rewrite your dialogue for you.
Right.
I have too many things going on. I mean, not just my business, but a daughter to raise and a house to keep. And
right.
I have other clients as well. And while I'm working on your book, whoever you are my most important client while I'm working on your book.
Right.
However, there are other people who are counting on me, and I can't go through a 300-page book and fix the dialogue
with no dialogue. And that's rough.
It is. Or there will be, like it'll be first person present tense in one paragraph and third person past tense in the next, and I'll have to say, listen, I need you to pick one point of view and one tense and stick with it, please, because again, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be polishing the manuscript, not
writing the manuscript,
taking it apart and putting it back together.
Right.
Otherwise, I would charge a whole lot more money.
Right.
That would be developmental editing, and while
that's a whole different subject.
But while I do that, that's not what I was paid to do in this particular instance.
Right.
No, but I love what I do, and I love being able to get to know these authors and to help them achieve their dreams.
Absolutely. Now, this is something that, this is only opinion wise. What would you say your favorite genre is?
I love fantasy.
Fantasy?
I love fantasy and paranormal, and I even like erotica. But
yeah, what woman doesn't?
I love them all. But my favorite is fantasy and paranormal.
I would say, even with mine, I'm a young adult, and it's realistic fiction, and I think a lot of it, I think it's now considered like modern fiction. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not really a young teenager, but yet it's not an adult. Then like an 18-year-old type, 20-year-old type of book.
Right, like young adult. Yeah, not
it's like a young adult, but yet the scenario is like I don't know if I've ever told you, but like my book is called Betrayal in the First Degree. So that has more adult issues, but yet it's set in like 18-year-olds and 20-year-old type stances. So I'm like right into that era right there.
Right. That's cool. Like I said, I love them all. I love all the genres. But what I like to read in my very spare free
Spare
time.
time?
My spare time is, fantasy and paranormal.
I mean, I'm sure you even get caught up, and I know that every book is not perfect by no means. And I'm sure you even get caught up even whenever you're writing for or reading for fun.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh goodness, that comma shouldn't be there. Or
and I think to myself, boy, they sure could have used me. But they don't like to hear that from me. So I try not to contact them and say, hey, would you be interested in my services? They don't like that a whole lot because they probably paid for an editor, and they don't want some nobody from Western New York telling them, they should use me. So.
Right. Alrighty. So what do you think the best way to proofread, like say your manuscript or your writing project? What do you have any extra like tips or things that you may want to tell an author, or I should say a writer, because they're really not an author yet?
Well, yeah, they are.
They are, but in a way.
If you've written a book, you're an author. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, if you're published, then you're a published author. But anybody who has written a story, my daughter has written stories, so I consider her an author.
An author.
If you've written a book or a story, you are an author.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
any type of tips do you have that you could help a new author, a writer, anyone else that even with their proofreading? Is there any type of things that maybe you can help them with?
Absolutely. Regarding commas, certainly. You put a comma where you would take a breath if you were reading it out loud.
Oh, I never really thought that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
actually really cool.
Yeah. Where you, if you were reading your book out loud, where you take a breath when you're reading is where you would stick a comma.
Now I'll have to go back and check mine now.
Before you send it to me, right?
I better check it.
I better.
Alrighty.
Other than that, I don't know what advice. Just get it all down.
Right.
Don't worry about how it looks. Just get it all down on paper or on your, in Word or Google, whatever, Google Docs.
Right.
Get it all down and then go through it again. And after you've been through it one or two times, then you send it to me or whoever your proofreader is.
No. And that was one thing I read this many years ago, that a proofreader or an editor or anything, they can't edit something that's not on paper. You have to write something, have it on paper, and then I can give it to you. And I thought, okay, well, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So as long as I get it down, I'll write it, and I'll keep writing. Eventually I'll go back to it. I'll edit it because now you have a fresh head from whenever you started that, say, chapter, book, or whatever. Oh, wow. No, this doesn't work for me. So then you're basically edit it 2 or 3 times before we even get to you.
Yes, absolutely.
So then that is, I don't want to say not so much hard work for you, but at least you can say, okay, well, I can see that she or he has put the time and the effort that they want to make this book or project a reality.
Absolutely. It absolutely should be gone over by the author, 2 or 3 times. Just to tighten it or more. Yes. 2 or 3 times to tighten it up. And then you send it to moi. Moi or whoever is your trusted editor / proofreader, so that they can do their job more efficiently. And a lot of people I talk with say, oh, I've got beta readers and they do my proofreading. No, that's great to bounce ideas off of. Absolutely.
Yes.
And to say, I really didn't like how chapter 2 went. It was too slow, or it was too fast, or it was wham bam thank you ma'am, or whatever, but and I'm probably going to upset some people saying this, but I've said it many a time. Beta readers, unless they are an actual professional proofreader or editor, are not enough. You cannot skimp on this part of the process. You absolutely cannot. And your aunt, who is an English teacher, great. She can go through it, absolutely. But you absolutely must have a professional proofreader / editor. Your best friend who loves to read, great. Bounce your ideas off your best friend who loves to read. But your best friend is not
an English
proofreader. Yeah, right.
I mean, my mom helps me out. Like, she is the one who has been there from point one to. She's heard me laugh, cry, and what are you doing to my book?
That's so funny, right?
Yes, I've gotten better at that. It was like the first sentence, and she's like, "Well, you need to change this first sentence." I'm like,
"That's great. I love that."
Like, you didn't even get to the first chapter yet, and
that's funny.
You're hitting this, but that's okay. Like, it took me a long time to realize that what I'm going to write on paper is not always what's going to be that final draft.
Exactly.
You're going to read it 15 million times.
But it's called a draft,
That's why it's called a draft, correct?
Yep, that's why it's called a draft.
It took a long time that, she tried editing it for me. Now, mind you, she's not an English major. She's, she reads a lot of books, and that's what's kind of helping me guide this. But we're just trying to get it all together.
That's just to rough it out. That's just,
yeah.
It's not, I'm not at all saying that those people aren't helpful and valuable. They're absolutely valuable in the process, but you cannot skimp on or completely avoid this part of the process.
No,
it's going to cost money, yes, but you have to spend money to make money.
Absolutely.
Because the better reviews you have, and the more 5-star reviews you have on your book, the better it's going to sell.
Yes.
If it's not edited or even just proofread, it's not going to get reviews, and you're going to wonder what in the world is going on. So please, world, all you writers, do not skimp on or completely skip.
Oh, yes.
Hiring a proofreader.
Absolutely. I even read this one thing. It was on Stephen King, although I'm not really a Stephen King fan.
Me neither.
Sorry.
That's all right.
But he obviously knows what he's doing. He has written how many millions of books.
His editor, I heard, gets like $1,000 a page. That's insane. I'm like, boy, I am working for the wrong people. No, not at all. I love you all.
Oh my goodness.
I love my peeps.
The one thing that he said, and I think this kind of helped me out a little bit, and that was kind of weird, but he said, "You must kill your darlings." And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's kind of weird.
I've heard that.
But, okay, if you want to get it better, you must edit, and you must, for the lack of better terms, massacre your book.
Needs to be
and make it better, and make it, edit it 4 or 5 times, and then get it to that editor, So, and if anybody has any questions for us, or if you would like to know more about us, by all means, write it down in the comments below. We will look at this. I'm not sure if you can look at the comments too, but
I can. No, I might be able to.
Okay. By all means, write them down in the comments. We'll look at them, and we'll get you to wherever you need to be. Anyway, I have her website down below. It's at Wordsmith Proofreading. You can check out her link down below in my comments. And if you would like this video, or if you would like us to do an interview with someone else or whatever, by all means, get a hold of me, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button and also the like button, and we can make more videos like this. If there's anything else that you would like to add to this, Miss Kim?
Just keep writing.
Keep writing.
Keep up the good work. Don't give up. Do not give up. Because sorry, I have an itchy nose for some reason.
That's okay.
Just don't give up. Do not give up on your dream. Just keep plugging away. And even if I'm not your choice of proofreader, there's somebody out there who will fit you. I'd love to be, but I don't always fit everybody. So I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I've really enjoyed talking with you, Susie.
It was really nice enjoying talking with you. Like, I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to go, but this actually turned out really wonderful.
This was a lot of fun.
And actually, yes, keep writing, keep doing whatever you're doing, because the only person that's going to really benefit is you. And to get yourself out there, whether it's writing or doing the YouTube channel or the Facebook or whatever else, that's something that you have to constantly post or put valuable content on, so you can get yourself out there and you can make a good business out of this.
Yep, absolutely.
All righty. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. Love you bunches.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.